In today's fast-moving and changing market, it's more important than ever to stay relevant. As businesses change and customers' needs evolve, both workers and companies need to adjust to succeed. Some simple ways to do this are by welcoming new ideas, regularly learning new skills, and building a strong personal brand. Meeting new people and creating connections can also give you helpful insights and opportunities. By keeping up with the market, the trends, and being open to change, you can position yourself or your business as a leader, making sure not only keep pace with, but also understand and stand out in a competitive world. Hello, my name is Jaqueline Andrrea. I am a photographer and a personal brand developer. Welcome to the She Means Business Master Society podcast. Welcome to the She Means Business Master Society podcast, where we empower entrepreneurs to thrive in their journey. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of entrepreneurship. We've faced our fair share of challenges, and that's why we've created this space. Here, we will connect with incredible guests, key figures in their fields who have navigated the ups and downs of their entrepreneurial careers. Together, we will share our experiences, insights, and tools that can help you elevate your business to new heights. So, get ready to be inspired, motivated, and equipped with the knowledge you need to succeed. Let's jump into today's episode. Comenzamos. She Means Business. Today we're going to shine the spotlight on a dear friend of mine. He is a dedicated real estate agent committed to empowering the Hispanic community. With his extensive knowledge and compassionate guidance, he helps families navigate the often challenging journey of home ownership. Beyond his role as an agent, he is deeply involved in the community initiatives, representing the voices and needs of those he serves. As the face of Al Día en Bienes Raíces, a podcast designed to deliver crucial updates and insights about the real estate landscape, he is not just a real estate professional. He is a community leader. Join us as we explore his impactful journey and discover how he is transforming lives through the real estate. Damas y caballeros, Alfredo Rosales. Bienvenido.
Wow, what an introduction. Thank you for coming. Good, muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Muy bien. Thank you so much for being here.
Welcome. No, thank you. I mean, it's an honor, obviously.
I am very excited to have you here because today our theme is to talk about how to survive in a very competitive market. And we will dive into that later. But I want you to introduce yourself and tell us who is Alfredo Rosales, how you came into what you are now, your story.
So, well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here with you. As you know, I mean, we've been friends for a long time, and anything you do, I always admire. So it's an honor to be here with you. Thank you for inviting me. But who I am is just, I'm just a boy that was raised in Mexico that, went through the struggles of life, being a single kid, living with mom and living with, parents and living here and living there, and just learn from everybody, right? And just decided that I want to do something for myself. I mean, there was a lot of times where you had an opportunity or I had an opportunity to not do what I do or be something else. But then it was me that decided that I want to be something, And here I am, 44 years later. I'm not 44.
I was going to say, are you 44? You cannot be younger than me.
No. So 44 years later, I'm here, and I'm in this spot and this positions and this life that I chose to create, I guess I would say, because of the challenges. And, here we are. So.
But what were those challenges?
I mean, you grew up in different households. When I was born, obviously, my mom had to work, so she left to work. And I was being taken care of by relatives. And
that was here in the States?
No, that was in Mexico.
That was in Mexico.
Yeah, so when I was born, like days later, my mom went back to Mexico. And so I grew up in Mexico. and just living with family members, relatives, going to school by myself, getting out by myself. I mean, there was always somebody there that will keep an eye on me, but there was periods of times where I lived by my own, and I was like 14, 15.
Wow.
And
those are the tough years.
yeah,
aren't they?
yeah, it is. I mean, there's a lot of temptation, obviously. I was surrounded with friends that drank and, and smoked and all that, but I was always the one that didn't. I had sports. I played sports. I did kept a busy life when I was younger, just because my mom was trying to keep me away from all that. So I used to go to computer school. I used to go to English school.
Very busy.
Yeah, so I had a busy schedule to try to stay away from that because I didn't see my mom like during the day.
And who will take you to all these places?
My
yourself?
neighbors.
Your
My neighbors, like, my mom,
Carpool?
my neighbor. Yeah, whatever I can. Like, even to school, I used to wake up early, go to my neighbor's house. And I just go ride with them, to school. And
so you were very independent.
in a way, yeah, in a way. And then even like sometimes some of the schools, they had a bus and they picked me up at home, stuff like that. So, like I said, there was a lot of times in between where you can make a different choice.
Yes.
And I seen it all.
The bad choices.
Yeah, the bad choices. And I seen them all. And I just decided not to. I don't know why.
So you don't look back and say, oh my God, I could have. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, no, I could have been.
Because there's a lot of peer pressure when you're at that age.
Yeah, especially when you have a little group of people that we used to hang out, all the time in the street, and they used to drink. And there was always the, hey, dame 20 pesos, or here, so let's go buy beer. And you're like 15, 16 years old.
Did you ever try at least?
No,
Never
actually,
got drunk?
no. But so funny is that my friends knew that I didn't drink. So I used to give them money. Like, I didn't care. Like, I used to pitch in, but I didn't drink. Because they're my friends, so we're all there.
I'm part of this.
Yeah, we're hanging out, whatever. But they will always bring me my orange juice.
Oh, that's
so they'll
sweet.
be drinking, and I'll be drinking. And I remember vividly, it's like, bota así de Tropicana.
Oh, my
and
God.
orange juice. And that's, hey, el jugo para Alfredo.
Wow.
Because I pitch in, but I want my juice.
Right.
And then I didn't have, at the beginning I had the, tómale, güey.
Right, they usually do that.
Fúmale o lo que sea. And I was like, nah, I'm not, And then my mom used to tell me at the time, you drink when you can afford your own habits.
Oh.
So I never drank.
Because you
I didn't
couldn't
have
afford
money. So, so I was like, all right.
But it was also probably your personality, because you can tell that to a kid at that age, and at the same time, I mean, you can get the money from anywhere, really.
Yeah, of course. And I always had money. I mean, I always had money to pitch in and stuff, but I just decided not to. And those are the things that sometimes, like, even now, I don't understand. Like, I could have.
Yeah.
I just
you were just not interested.
Yeah, maybe not.
You were not interested in belonging.
And I didn't
probably
need it to be cool.
Right.
So
you were
I didn't
cool already with your juice.
I'm already cool. Like, they need my money anyways, right?
Right. They
That's how I
this
felt.
group.
Like, yeah. So yeah, no, but it was decisions like that helped me kind of navigate, and just things that I heard from people like, oh, I wish my kids were like you, or stuff like that. And it was like, I guess I'm doing things right.
Yeah, all those decisions. And what moved you to the States, and when?
When I was 12, my mom got a job. She used to work in the fields.
Okay.
So she had to go to Salinas back in the days, and I went with
Salinas,
her.
is that
Salinas, California.
California.
Yeah, in California.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
No, so she used to cross the border like every day to go to work in the fields. Like, you show up at 4 a.m, 3 a.m, go to work, and you get home like at 10 o'clock at night. So I never see my mom.
Oh, wow.
I mean, me and my mom, I think we started living together when I was like 15, 16. Mm-hmm. That's when we actually lived together. But then she would leave really early and come in really late. Mm-hmm. So I've never seen her, to be honest. And then she had to go to Salinas. And then my first time being in a school in the United States was when I was 12 in Salinas, California.
So she moved you too?
Just for the summer, because she had to work in the summer over there.
Oh, okay.
So we went for the summer. So I went into summer school. And that's where I learned more English a little bit. Because obviously I used to go to school, like English school in Mexicali. But it was more like door, window.
Right.
Like the typical.
The basics.
The basic. So I was put in a school, and obviously everybody spoke English, and I was like,
And you're only being this social. I mean,
yeah, I was social. I mean, I have friends, so I have friends that helped me out and stuff. I made friends that helped me out, and then that was my first time going to school.
wow.
But then when we came back from the summer, I lived in Mexicali until I was 18. But I used to cross the border every day to go to school in California.
Oh, wow.
So
And
like
how far
every
was
day.
that?
So just to give you a perspective, there was times where I used to do it myself. So I used to get up really early. I had to walk about 20 minutes
Okay.
to get to a taxi or a bus. Then it would be like a 15, 20-minute ride to the border.
Okay.
So I get off, then I cross the border
By yourself.
by myself. There was not an issue back in then. You know, you're a citizen now, coming in, you know.
Okay.
And then I would have to walk another, depending on what time of, you know, whether I was in middle school or high school, but I still had to walk probably about another 30 minutes to get to school.
So it will be about an hour.
About an hour and a half ride from home and then back.
And what time was your school?
It was at 8 o'clock, so I had to get up like really early to get to school, and then we get
But
off
you were
like at
always
3.
responsible.
Yeah, I get
No
up and
problems.
go. I used to go every day. I never missed, and you know that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes I had so many opportunities. I could decide not to go to school.
Yeah.
Like, oh, who cares, you know? But that was my only job. That was my only thing I had to do when I was little.
Right.
Go
And
to
you
school.
didn't know anything different.
No, I mean I didn't know
It was
anything
life.
different. Yeah, I mean other than what my friends used to do.
Right.
I mean that's all I knew. You know.
Was there other kids also going to school across the border?
I obviously when I was in school I met some friends, so we used to meet at the border, and then we used to like walk together or like ride the bus together or whatever. And then there was times like back in the days, people used to work in the field, so they used to get on the line to cross the border like really early, like 6 in the morning.
Oh, wow.
So that week, my friends, Octavio, I remember, his mom used to go early at 6 in the morning, and then my mom used to drop me off at 7. So
Wow.
they'll do the line for an hour, and then we just meet like right before we cross.
Oh, my
And then I'll just
God.
jump in the car.
It was teamwork.
Yeah, it was like we had to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
But it had to be done.
Yeah.
And, you know, those are the things that I always say, like, that's what makes you who you are because,
Absolutely.
you know.
Those struggles that you at the moment don't see as struggles, right?
Yeah.
That you just live your life because you're a kid. So
Right.
you think that that is the normal way to live and you don't know any different. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, we'll just deal with it. So you were already connected with the States. And then what moved you completely to the States? What is that step that you take or
So-
make you take?
Yeah, so I graduated in 98, back in 98 from Calexico High. And I tried to go to college.
When you say try,
It was too many friends. It's too many friends. I don't know what at that point made me do what I didn't do before. But it was like, they're like, hey, let's go. Let's go. And then I didn't go to class.
like hanging out.
Yeah, so it was like more
What?
hanging out. So it was like, okay. But I didn't want that for me either. And then it was funny because I was telling Ivan Cemental this story one time. He was like, well, what made you... Because I went to the military in 99, February 99.
Okay.
And then he's like, what made you go into that?
Yeah.
And I said, well, you know, first I was upset at my mom
Oh.
because she didn't buy me a car. And I didn't think I was going to do anything. See, the Imperial Valley is very small. So either you do law enforcement or you work in the fields.
And you didn't want to work in the field.
I didn't want to work in the fields. And obviously law enforcement, I don't know if I wanted to be a border patrol. I don't think I have the heart for that.
Yeah, you will be the
I don't
most.
think I have the heart for that. So it was also a decision, okay, so what do I do? So I just like, you know what, out of anger, I'm like, I'm going to leave. You know, I didn't know better.
Right.
So I did my test and then I left to the military. And this is back in 99, February 99.
Wow. So it was out, but that changed your life too.
It did, yeah.
For good.
Obviously discipline and everything
Structure.
else, yeah.
Wow.
And obviously I always say that was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Wow, I love this, Alfredo. You know, I've known you for how many years now? And I don't think I ever heard this story.
Almost 18 years.
Almost 18 years. And I don't think I ever heard this story. And it makes me so happy to be able to hear. Have you ever wrote a book about this?
No.
I feel that way, but you know, I feel that these type of stories are the ones that can inspire our younger generations because we are so lost, right?
Well, now we can share the story. I've never shared the story, the full story.
Wow. And I feel that we need a full podcast for this
Yeah.
story, honestly. But I see you now. Well, you became a real estate agent, so we're gonna fast forward just because of time. But we do need a full podcast for your story. But what happens? How did you get into that field?
So when I leave the military, this is back in '04, somewhere in there. I go back to the Imperial Valley in El Centro, Calexico, and I'm there, and I'm like, what do we do? And I have a cousin of mine that he went to Eureka for the police academy.
Oh.
Like, he paid his own academy, but he couldn't get a job as a police officer yet. So at that moment, we're like, what do we do? He's like, and then somebody mentioned to us, why don't you guys go to the correction?
Yeah.
Like correction work, right? Because we always wanted to do law enforcement. That's all you got to do. I mean, that's all there to do.
That was the option, yeah.
And then also when you're military, your first thought is when you leave the military, well, you got options as a law enforcement, right? Mm-hmm. So we're looking at each other and we're like, why don't we go? So we drove an hour to Yuma, Arizona, and we signed up. And then next thing you know, we're in Tucson at the Corrections Academy. So we're at the corrections. Obviously, we ended up in the same facility. But then at that time, I was married, and my sister-in-law used to live here in Vegas. And then she's like, hey, Alfredo, they're looking for bilingual officers here in Vegas. And then I was making like $29,000 back in the day. I was like making bank.
You're right.
And then they're starting off at 34.
Oh, wow.
And then with my military experience, it's 4 years, so that's like almost 39. So I was like, well, it makes sense. So I came to Vegas, and I signed up. And they're like, oh, we have to wait like 3 months for you to go to the next class. And I was like, okay. So I signed up. And then I'm like, what am I going to do for 3 months? So I looked for a job, just for the meantime, my thought. And I landed a job with Juan Martinez back in the days as a listing coordinator, just data entry job. And I was making, I think, like $27,000, $28,000 a year.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay. So I got the job, and I started working. And when they called me for the corrections, I'm like, I think I'm all set. So I didn't go to the academy because I already had a job that I was enjoying. Yeah. It was a desk job. I didn't risk my life. I was making, about the same. Right. I had possibilities. So I just stayed there. Yeah. And the rest is history.
Wow. And then you just escalated into who you are now. Yeah. And you have a podcast now that you give so many great information. It's been how many years we were talking about this?
About 4 years now.
4 years. And it is amazing how being consistent also has taken you into so many other opportunities, right? Yeah. Not only, the real estate you always say in your field, which is great. But let's talk about how to survive in such a highly competitive market. Yeah. So I feel that real estate and photography too is very, very competitive. So how do you stay relevant?
You know what? Here in Las Vegas, there's probably about in the county, there's probably about 2.2 million people.
Wow. And that is before COVID or after COVID?
That's currently the last census. The last census was, I think, like 2-3 years ago. And then the whole state is about 3.3 million, right? We have currently, as of a couple weeks ago, I think 15,800 real estate agents in Las Vegas.
And they're working real estate agents or licensed.
Well, there's a statistic that came out not too long ago that only like 70% of the real estate agents haven't closed a deal all year.
Ouch. Oof.
Yeah. So
how do you survive to that?
So there's only a very small number of active real estate agents
really making money
in Las Vegas or in the country for that matter, right? So how you stay relevant is you got to stay informed. You got to stay informed. You got to stay educated. You got to move on with the trends. You got to adapt or you die, right? And that's what's been happening for the last 5 years. Some people have not adapted. Some people were used to, just like it happened back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, they were used to the business just dropping in their lap. And now when you have to generate, now that's where you lose a big chunk of real estate agents, because we lost in the last year probably about 1,000 or so, at least here in Las Vegas. Wow. And we're probably going to lose more because now you have to adapt. Now you got to look for the business. It's not going to just land in your lap.
But here I am thinking that you always have to look for the business. And
Right,
apparently
right.
there was, because I remember one of my clients telling me that, it's like she became a real estate agent because she had so many people asking for it, and it was like, and then suddenly she has to look for it.
Yeah.
So it is amazing how things
But even
change.
when it lands in your lap, you still have to be looking for business.
Right.
Because there's a moment that business will not just fall in your lap. So now you got to depend on what you can do to generate your own business.
And whenever you started, you had to look for business.
Well, when I started as staff. I mean, I was like a listing coordinator. Then I became an escrow coordinator. Then I became a sales manager. Then I became this and this and that. Then I became a real estate agent. But for the most part, the last 5 years, so before the last 5 years, I used to manage real estate offices.
Okay.
My job was to oversee production in real estate, budgeting and all that kind of stuff for Juan Martinez, Nora Aguirre, these big hitters, right? But then there was to a point where like, okay, so what do I do now? So I created my own team. So until after like 5 years ago, I created my own team, and then they was like, dude, you took too long. I said, yeah,
But it was not your time.
It was not my time, right? So to me, that was not, I wasn't ready for it. And then when I made the decision, I was ready for it. So so I used to do that for them. So now I got to do it for me. And it's the same thing applies. You know, you got to be able to generate your own business. Yes, you're going to have business that fall in your lap. But then if you don't learn how to generate, then you're probably going to fall somewhere along the line, right?
Right. Yeah, like anyone else,
Yeah.
right? Like all that.
Any
the
other
70%.
business. Yeah, any other business. And that's for any other business, not just
Right.
real estate, any business.
But I feel that you also created such a strong personal brand, which in my opinion, is very important to stay relevant, because by being yourself, you've been able to help people, right? Not only to buy a house, but also to stay informed in what the trends are.
Yeah, and then obviously real estate agents, like some real estate agents, I'm saying not everybody, but some real estate agents do have that mentality of growth, right? And when we talk about growth, is growing your financial future, not just sell a real estate. Yeah, we sell real estate, but it's not just about that. It's about learning what to do with that real estate. It's about opportunities that real estate generates and creates. And some people don't see that. Some people are just about selling real estate.
Right.
And that's it.
He'll buy a house.
And yeah, exactly. We were just talking about content, right? Well, what do you do with the content afterwards?
Correct.
It's sometimes what matters, right? Same thing with real estate. What do you do with real estate after the fact? You know, do you just some agents, I mean, believe it or not, most agents or a lot of agents don't have contact with their past clients.
Oh.
So it's transactional. Oh, you buy them a house, that's it.
Right.
I made my money, you got your house, we're good, right?
Right.
So it's about what happens after that, after selling the house, after buying a house. Do you keep up with them? Do you tell them what's going on with the market? Do you tell them what possibilities they have? Hey, you have equity. You could do this. You can earn more money. You can rent it. You can do this. So that's what actually also makes you different from others.
So building that relationship,
It's so important.
Yes,
It's so
absolutely.
important.
And you do that by, using your podcast and all these other tools that you provide to your people, because
Yeah.
I'm sure it's hard to grab the phone and contact every single one of your clients, but
Yeah.
there's other tools that can help you maximize and kind of, get that
Social
voice out.
media.
Social media.
Social media, I mean,
And you're
obviously,
very active in social
I try
media.
to be. I try to be. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do anything, but I have to be, right?
Right, yeah.
And that's how you keep in touch with their database too,
Yeah.
Now, I do call probably about 20 people a day from my database, personally, just because I want to keep in touch. I want to see how they're doing, see what's going on, look at the properties, this and that. Kind of stalk them a little bit because I want to make sure they're doing good and see if there's any options of growth, right? And we talked about, going into, and I know you'll talk about it later, but with NARA, that's one of the things that we focus on, building generational wealth for the Latino community.
Oh.
And that's something that has been in me for a long time. And I'm like, well, I want to jump on this wagon, right?
Absolutely.
So that's one of the things that helped me develop myself in that sphere too. So
Right. And now that you talk about NAREP, so tell everyone what NAREP is.
So NAREP is the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. We're the largest Latino-owned business trade organization in the United States. Okay. We have over 40,000 members, over 100 chapters across the country. And one of our major goals is to close that gap of wealth between the Hispanic and the Caucasian, right? Which is a big gap. And we do that through real estate, through diversification, through investing, through other materials that real estate actually helps you achieve. Oh. So that's what we do.
I love that. And you were president for a little bit. Like
For
no, it's not a little bit. Yeah.
For a year.
A term.
I was president for the 2023 year here in Greater Las Vegas. I'm still on the board as a past president.
Okay.
Actually, my term will be up next in January. Will be up. So.
And what difference did you see in your business supporting this type of
So I think that one of the things that I noticed that happened to me is I was able to find a passion. I was able to define something that I wanted to do. I was able to grow my base, my network. I was able to work with more agents across the country that recognize me or that know me, whether it's through my podcast or through my presidency or through our national events. So I was able to see something that I would not have seen if I didn't get in.
Right.
And
it gives you another perspective.
Yeah, it gives you another perspective. It opens doors that you never thought you could open or you knew that existed, right?
Right.
I was talking to somebody the other day. I'm like, dude, before this, like I was in my office. I could care less about anybody else. I did my job. I did my work. I did what I had to do, and that's it. But now it's like building relationships is something I really enjoy doing.
Right. And it's natural on you.
And it's natural, right? So it just comes out, and I'm like, this I'm a social butterfly. Man, actually, I'm not. I try not to be, but but it happens.
Yeah.
But it helped me find something that I didn't know I needed, and that it helped me grow in many ways. You know?
And that also set you apart from everyone else because by growing that network, we just talk about the personal brand, by staying informed, all of that is definitely something that sets you apart. So how do you deal with con la competencia, like people that are doing exactly the same as
There's
you?
no such thing. I think that's a rhetoric that we need to change all the time. Like there's really no competition. You are who you are, right?
There's enough houses to sell.
No, it's not about, people will follow you for who you are.
I love that.
Like, it doesn't matter. One day I was with another real estate agent. We were having a conversation on a podcast, and we were talking exactly about that. We're both real estate agents, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
People will follow him. People will follow me. It doesn't matter if I do a video on my own and it reaches his audience. They still will not buy with me.
Right.
They will go with him and say, hey, he said this, right? It's because people follow your personality.
Correct.
So that's why sometimes when we talked about we had to cut the radio because of my language. And I said, people sometimes follow me because I say, sometimes I speak my mind.
You're a little bit too raw, which we love that about you. People that get to know you in that personal level, I feel that this is what we admire you, and this is what we love you. So if you come to us and said all this, to us is normal. To us is is speaking his mind and he's being himself.
Yeah, shit happens.
That's right.
It happens.
It's reality. It's reality, and that's the way you say it.
And that's how people relate to
gravitate to you.
Yeah, they're like, oh, I like this guy because he's honest and he's
and
not afraid to say things, right?
Yeah, but some people don't, right? Yeah. So what happens to those people?
And I hope I don't get censored, by the way.
That was fine. You're not going to get censored, not in this podcast. So what happens to all that people? Like, how do you handle people not liking you?
I don't.
You do pay attention to
I don't. I really don't. I mean, I think that there's so many people in this world that you'll find the ones that will follow you.
Absolutely.
Like, there's no need for you to cry over. I mean, even with clients, I mean, your son and Ron can tell you, like, even clients, like, we lose clients, but are we going to cry about it? No. I'm sure we'll get more clients.
But, I feel that it also takes you a certain level of business maturity in order to understand that, right? Because whenever you're starting, and I'm going to put that on myself too.
Yeah.
Whenever you're starting, whenever a client says, "Oh, you're too expensive," it kind of
Yeah.
hurts, you know.
But you're
it's
at that level now.
right? But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it comes with business maturity. Whenever
Yeah.
you're like, you know what, it is not that I'm expensive. It's that I am out of your budget.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I'm out of everyone's budget.
Right. So you got your niche too, right?
Correct.
And same thing happens like back in the days. I can tell you, like, I used to be scared to lose a client. Like, oh my God, I've been working, but now it's like, it is what it is.
But it take us how many years?
Yeah,
of
it took
being
us
in
years. Like
business,
some
right?
people come to me and say, "Dude, I want to get to your level to be able to like fire clients.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can fire a client if I wanted to,
Right. If
because
you're like,
we're
this
not
is a
compatible.
match.
Exactly, we're not matching. Like I can't help you." And some people will like roughly go through it because they need it
Yeah. Right.
or for whatever reason, and that's fine. But then you got to find your people. You got to find the people that follow you. And I've been blessed with having an audience and having people that follow us. They're there every morning watching us. They're liking our videos, commenting, asking questions, referring clients, just because we either been through the process or that because they built that trust with us,
Right.
you know?
You paid your dues.
Yeah, yeah. So now, and then with social media, that's what it is building trust. Like you won't get, I mean, sometimes you will, but for the most part, you're going to build an audience that are going to have to build trust on what you're saying throughout the days, weeks, or months, and then they'll call you.
Right.
It will take at least 3 months for somebody to build trust on social media.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't know you.
That doesn't know you. Yeah. At all.
So you have to learn how to do that.
It just
And
takes
be patient.
time. Be patient. Yeah, exactly. And just be informative and helpful,
Yeah.
right? And I feel that that's probably something that we also learned through the years, like with competition, right? When we were talking about competition, there's a lot of real estate agents, there's a lot of photographers. I feel that the more I help the people that are a little behind me and that are probably starting a business in photography, for example, the more I help them, the more blessings I get.
Okay.
And I don't help them to get blessings. Okay. So I'm just like, let me help you. How can I help you?
Yeah.
How can I? So, and I feel that that's probably your case as well, because
Yes.
I've seen you.
Yeah.
I've seen you. We had a little moment with my son,
Yeah.
right? And he needed help. He needed some guidance, and you, without hesitation, offered
Definitely.
that hand.
Yeah.
And he went another way, which is fine.
One, because it was you. The other one's because it's nature.
No, but you help.
Yeah,
You help without even wanting anything in exchange, right? And I feel that all that information that you put out and that helping hand that you put out is also something that even real estate agents are seeing, right? I'm sure you have a lot of following that are real estate
We do,
agents.
yeah. I do actually. It's funny because my social media somehow, I mean, not somehow, I know why, but it turned out to be now a majority of people that comment and like and follow and this and that are industry, realtors, lenders, anything across the country, obviously because of NowRep and all this. So I've learned how to switch from things of how do I get my business, because I know like nowadays I'm not getting business from Instagram, although I'm getting referrals,
Right.
which is good.
Right.
So I'm still pushing that, and I'm still being okay with having realtors and meeting realtors from other states and other cities, because that's also business. You know, it's networking, right? So you have to learn how to read that too. And I don't hesitate to teach agents at all. Like I get in, even locally, like people, hey, you know, I love your videos. I love what you do. I love this. I'm like, well, do it.
Do you do any type of mentoring for?
I
those
don't.
people?
Although I've been asked to do so, but
Why
I
not?
don't. I don't know. I have to sit down and like plan it. But a lot of agents come up to me and say, hey, I like your videos, and I do. I wish I could do that. And I'm like, you can. I say, look, I did the work for you. I already did the research. I already told you what to say.
Just
do it
reshare
your
it.
own way. No, or do it your own way. Like, you don't have to share my post if you don't want to, because you're a realtor, right? I get it. Some people won't share my posts because they're realtors and they think it's, threat, right? But at the end, then do the same content. Do it your way. I don't have a problem with it. You think I was the inventor of that information? No. I just used it, So do the same thing. You got to be open. Some agents don't like it, though.
They don't like.
No,
that they
I heard
copy.
stories about, hey, why are you using my content? I'm like, dude.
Why not? It's free, yeah. So, and I feel that that is also something that comes with the maturity. So, being able to share something and see that people reshares. I'm a Zoom instructor, right? So, a lot of people reuse my choreographies, my original choreographies, and it never bothered me. I'm never like, oh, you're using my choreographies
And I
or
see you
something like
working
that.
on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and it's like, but at the same time, it's like if you created it, you put it out there. If people copy you,
good.
that is a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
So, but how do you get to that point of thinking, yeah, that's a good thing, yay?
I think it's a mental stage. I think it's something where you have to be okay with yourself, understand your market, understand your goals, and be like, this is good. Like, maybe I can do this. Maybe I can sell this choreographies. Maybe. I don't know.
Right.
It could be an option, right? Or you can be a teacher, and that's so. It's just a matter of knowing how to use your advantages or your abilities to whether turn it into a business or
I like that.
Or,
you see it as a business opportunity.
Yeah, it is. Which is what goes to say like the mentoring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people talk about, well, you know, I've been getting approached a lot about, Alfredo, I think at this point you should be doing this.
I think so.
And I'm like, you think so? Yeah, you know, I don't know. I like helping people with, you know, but then it's also hard for me to ask for. Well, I'm gonna charge you an hour if I tell you, you know,
right?
like
of course.
I'm gonna tell you like I don't care,
right?
You know, I mean,
because it's not your business.
Yet. but then I also don't want to close my doors to people, so it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to try to start something like that, although it makes sense,
right?
But
because of experience.
But we'll see. I'm still debating on that.
And hey, we're just gonna put it out there.
Yeah, we'll put it out there.
Just in case, you know, because people are probably gonna reach out to you and say, "Hey, what about?"
You know what? I think one of the things why I probably haven't done it and I haven't really considered is because I don't see myself way up there. I think that's why. Like I've done okay and I do okay, but I don't think I'm at that level where I can sell you something. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I think you're gonna get to that point too. Whenever you know, you're like, okay, I think I'm ready. But at the same time, I feel that all your expertise and all the time that you can put into mentoring, it will be so valuable that people are gonna be wanting to pay for it. Yeah. So and you're gonna get to that
eventually.
point. Eventually, yeah. And it starts with believing.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. So, I think that's the main point where I have to believe it, and because again, if I do it and it's just maybe I see the financial benefit of it, then it's not really something I'm going to put my 100% into.
Right, you know? Right, and it's because you're a business person. Yeah. You're a visionary too. So if you see the value, then you will be okay. Yeah, let's do it. Why
it makes
not?
Sense.
And I love that, you know. So we're going to make a quick pause right here. We'll be back. Yeah. All right. We are so back with Alfredo Rosales. I am so into this conversation. I love that.
I'm scared.
That we are surviving into this very competitive, but at the same time, we're having fun while doing it, right? So I feel that that's another point that everyone should take in consideration. As long as you're having fun, there is no competition. There is no who runs first or who gets first to the goal. Everyone's goal is completely different, right? Yes. And everyone's path is completely different. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes consistency that we were saying. So, but there is definitely a lot of opportunities for all of us, even if it is a competitive market or not, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to go to true or false. Ooh, we have a little bell here. Let me turn it just in case. Pa que no se vea. So true is we clap, false we ding. Okay. So, but no se vale tampoco.
False. That's false. Okay.
That's false. Okay. So we're going to start with the first one. Okay. So rigorously updating your skills and knowledge is essential to staying relevant in a competitive market.
Of course.
Yes. So we were talking about it at the beginning, how you stay like on top of learning.
Yeah, because I think that the most you learn, the more you educate yourself, the most you go to conferences, to classes, to all these things that are offered out there, I think the more you can provide to your clients.
Do you think that the most important investment that we have in our business should be education?
Yes, in yourself.
In yourself.
Invest in yourself.
And your people, right?
Yeah, true. Yeah, if you have a team, invest in your people. I think that when you go to conferences or you go to events, it's not about just going out there networking, yes, but what you can learn, whether for your clients, for your community, or for your business. I think those are three very important because you go learn, and maybe you learn stuff for your clients.
Mm-hmm.
But then you scale your business, but then you didn't learn how to scale your business or how to support that scale in your business, right? So also learning about things for your business, your self-development, I think are very important. So
Yes, I love that. I love that. Myself, I try to invest at least 2 or 3 times a year in education. Photography trends change a lot.
Yeah, of course.
And I'm sure also in your
Yeah,
line of
real
business.
estate
So
trends.
we try to keep it like, okay, what is the new lighting, or it doesn't have to be just about lighting. It could be like about CRMs. It could be, about everything that is the core of a business.
Which goes into a business, yeah.
Yeah, and I love
So,
that.
yeah.
So yay. So
Totally
it's a
true,
yay.
true.
Networking and building relationships within your industry can help you stay informed about market trends.
Yes.
Yes,
True.
yes. And we were just talking about NAREP, right?
Yes.
How that changed your
It's
vision.
it's so important to network. First of all, your net worth is your network, right? So we've always heard that saying that the 5 people you hang out with are who you become, right?
Yeah.
And being able to network with people out of state and pick their brain on how they're doing business. There's always that comment that people in your same market may not tell you their secrets. Right?
Okay.
So you go outside the market. They have no problem telling you their secrets.
That's right.
So you go outside the market, you network, you set up meetings, you talk to them, you ask them the questions you want to ask, find out how they got to where they're at, and then tell them how they can mentor you to be where they are now.
Right.
And that's the importance of networking.
Yes.
And also network with the right people.
Yes, absolutely. And we have actually a podcast episode where we talk about how to network and how to look for the right places to go, people to meet. So I'll invite you to go back in our podcast and watch that episode that is with Fabiola Guevara. It's very, very interesting. Yeah. I don't know if you have met her, but she is like a
I've
power
talked to her,
network.
but I haven't met her.
Oh, she's
I had a
amazing.
conversation
Like
with her,
she
yeah.
is the person you want to know, so you can know
She's
everyone.
all over the place.
She is all over the place. We love you,
That I can
Fabiola,
tell
if
you,
you're
yes.
watching this. Ignoring customer feedback can be a good strategy for maintaining your business direction.
Oh,
No,
not at all. Obviously, they're the ones that are going to tell you how good you're doing or not.
Yes.
One of my metrics, or one of the things that I always tell clients and myself, is reviews. They're so important, right? Some people don't get reviews. So I always tell my clients, go to Google, do a review, and hopefully, the service is being up to your standards, right?
Right.
And they'll tell you right away, no, I don't want to do it, because maybe they don't want to do you a disservice, in a way, and mess you up. But most of them will do it. And they'll be honest in their comment. They'll be honest in their review, how their experience was. And then you always ask them, like, hey, is there anything that we can change? And they'll give you good little pointers, and that's fine. That will help you grow your business. Because at the end, we're not just selling real estate like we talked about. We're also selling the experience. And that's how you become different from others, right? Is the experience that they have when they come to you.
Right.
And their
I love
feedback
that
is very important. So
that's right. It does, that way you can actually make that customer experience a lot better.
Yeah.
And that can make you different also from your competition.
yeah,
So
and
that's
better
awesome.
to have it from a client than somebody else.
Right, because they already went
They
through
just
you.
went through it, yeah.
Yeah, so they can give you the most honest
And sometimes they've been through it a couple times with other people, and then they might tell you. I'll give you a quick example here. I had a client that came over and bought a property from California. It was referred to me from a real estate agent in California. The buyer was his dad. And I always tell him, like, look, there's one thing you refer me a client, but referring your family, that's a whole different story, right? And he personally asked me to do a video. And I told him, I said, look, I don't do those videos because I think I don't like to do that.
Well, a video, like a review video?
No, like a video of getting the keys and give him like a hype
okay.
video about buying a property and the buyer and this and that. And I said, look, I see those videos all the time in photos and, just clothes and all that stuff. I don't do that kind of stuff.
It's not your style.
Yeah, I don't want people to come to me because I'm selling, but more than anything because of my experience, education, and all this. Doing a post like that, all it is marketing.
Right.
That's all it does.
Yeah.
People say, it's about the client. No, it's not about the client, because you can still do that and not record it.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. Now there is about the client. So you're finding a use for it, and it's marketing. right? So I told him I don't do that, but I'll do it for you, because he wanted to.
Okay, yeah, why
So,
not?
Yeah. So he gave me the feedback, because we could have closed it, we could be buying it, but maybe he would be not so much giving me a 5-star because he wanted that video and we didn't do it.
It was important for him.
Yeah, so we did it. I said, no problem. Let's do it. We have fun doing it too.
Yeah, it is not your style, but you will do it. Why not?
Yeah, and there's communication.
It is, yeah, absolutely. All right. Embracing technology and digital tools is important for staying competitive in today's market.
Yes, very.
What are the most important tools you have?
So, I keep hearing the last week I've been hearing a lot, the adapt or die, right? Like we have to adapt to technology. We have to adapt to new CRMs.
Yeah.
We have to adapt to AI. We have to adapt to anything that have to do with ChatGPT and all this other stuff, right, Cam? And learn how to do all this stuff. Yesterday or like 2 days ago, I was having a conversation with somebody and they're asking her to do something. And I said, well, why don't you go back? And I said, why don't you do it? And then she said, well, the response is going to be like, I don't know how to use Canva. Well, apparently you're never going to know because you don't want to do it, right? So there's always a learning curve, right? So we have to adapt with everything that goes on.
Right.
There's more possibilities. There's more things that we can do if we adapt and use the tools that are put in front of us than if you don't use them and you just kind of stay back and let others do it, and then they'll grow and then you just sit back because you decided you didn't want to take the step and learn.
Right. It's like whenever, a person has like an old phone and they refuse to changing a new phone because they don't know how to use it.
Or go from Apple to like Google.
Exactly.
And Android, right?
Yes. It's very different. So they are scared of the change.
Yeah.
But change is what makes you grow.
Yeah.
Really. And getting into it is like you don't know how to use a computer. You will never know if you don't sit in front of a computer as they're using it.
Yeah,
Same with the tools.
Same thing. So my advice is go to, I know like here in Vegas per se, and I'm sure everywhere else, there's classes about AI, about Canva, about ChatGPT, about this, about that. Go to those classes. Yeah. Learn from it.
Or YouTube. Come on.
And use it for your advantage. That's what you want to do.
That's right. To your business, to your advantage, and just adapt it to whatever your needs are to grow. I love that. Focusing only on your existing customer base is sufficient for long-term success.
I'm going to have to clap and...
Oh, it's a mix. Okay. Yeah. Tell me about that.
So, yeah, it could be. They say your database is probably should be about 60% of your business. Okay. So it could be if you want to keep it low key and steady, and you might get, I don't know, depending on your database, you might get, 3 to 4 or 5 deals a year from your database, 10, 15, depending. And maybe you're okay with that. So it could be.
Depending on your goals.
Yeah, depending on your goals, because you'll get those referrals, right, from your database. Right. But then if you want to grow, then you got to find an extra source of leads, of business. And that's where marketing comes, networking or podcasting.
Right. And it does take a lot of work.
It does take work, yeah. But then some people are okay with doing 10 deals a year, 12 years a deal. That's fine, know. So it would depend. That's why it's like yes and no. I mean, it would depend on your goals, and you could survive off of your database if you wanted to. Okay. I mean, there's some people that have a big database, and that's all they do. Yeah. And they do 100 deals a year.
Right, they keep busy.
But they have a big database.
And they also, they also network a lot. They also, so there is to be able to get to that point whenever you can only leave from your database if your goals are high, you have to
if your goals are high, you're not.
Yeah, well,
I mean, you got to find an extra source of lead generation.
Right.
But if you're just basically doing your database, it might keep you through, steady pace and just at your normal that you're comfortable, then that's fine. You could.
There you go. And that's why it's a mix. Offering a unique product or service can differentiate you from your competitors.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So recently we had the situation with an AR.
What is an AR?
The National Association of Realtors.
Oh,
and the lawsuit. Yeah. Okay. And the lawsuit of what happened. Yeah. So there was a lot of talk between the settlement and when it happened and the change, and everyone was talking about, okay, so how are we going to charge people now? What do we offer? Do we offer packages? Like if they go to photography, and then there's this package, this package, this package. We're like, okay, so if I'm a realtor, if you pay me this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, which didn't make sense. But I think that there's got to be something that people like about you for them to go with you. And that will differentiate yourself, right? Whether it's being real, because I get that all the time. Like sometimes, oh yeah, the other guy seemed like, a little snubby or whatever, or he seems like he was lying, and that will put you on top of everybody else. Or whether it's, obviously it's commission, who pays more and this and that, or, there's always a talk. But I think that your personality will be the one that will be the differentiation there between whether they go with you or not, whether you charge more or not.
Right.
I think money's a factor, but I think at the end, they got to trust you.
Absolutely.
So I think your personality will be your biggest trait.
I love that we always go back to personal branding because that's my baby.
Yeah.
I always feel that people should focus a lot more in what your personal brand is, more than what's happening on how your logo looks like or stuff like that, which is important too. It's part of it. But I love that we always go back to it. So it doesn't matter because we all give probably the same service, but then customer experience and then how people feel, how you make people feel around you whenever that transaction is going on.
Yeah.
It's so important.
And I think that social media and everything and branding is important, yes. But at the end, you still got to have the conversation. And you can have the best logo in the world. You can have the best photos in the world, even using AI if you want.
Absolutely.
If you want to go cheap, right? Using AI, that's fine. You can have really nice photos, but then when they meet you, they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait.
Yeah. Same thing. You can have the best logo, best photos, best social media, but then the moment they meet you, it's like, no, it doesn't look like the guy on there. Right?
Yeah.
So be true to yourself because that's your biggest branding right there.
Absolutely. True to yourself and to your mission.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I feel that you have your mission so clear.
Yeah.
And I love that of you. And
Thank you.
I love that. So we're going to do the last one. So we're going to go to, let's search for it. It has to be a good one.
All right.
Oh, and this is a good one. Flexibility and adaptability are key traits for businesses to thrive in a changing market.
Absolutely.
Yes, we talk about it.
Yeah, we talk about it.
Clap.
You have to adapt.
You have to adapt.
And I know offices. I'll give you a perfect example. I went to an office one day. We're looking at somebody for NAREP, and I went to an office, and I walk into the office, and then I'm looking at the office. I'm like, it looked more like a hospice.
Ay, qué miedo.
Like it had the, and hopefully they're not watching it. It had the green carpet, and then it had the molding and the desks were like that granite, like a pinky granite, but the siding, really weird. It looked really old. And one of the advice I gave the lady, because she's like, yeah, we're recruiting and we're trying to recruit. I'm like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, people walking here, like,
first of all, change your carpet.
Yes, like the first impressions are all. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yes.
I mean, there's a reason why they're not coming back. And so I told her, I said, I think you need to renovate your office. I mean, everybody nowadays is looking for the gray floor, the Google style office, open space and this and that. This isn't gonna cut it. So you have to adapt.
Right.
You have to change with times. You have to see. Just like you were talking about with clients, like we have to see what they're looking for, what makes them move, and I think if you don't adapt, you can pretty much
adapt or die.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I was on a Google thing yesterday where there were trends on searches, and they're looking for everything except realtors.
Oh,
like they're looking for townhouses, they're looking for Zillow, they're looking for this, but I did not see realtor near me.
What?
So now, with that data, you see people are not looking for you. You have to find the people. So.
And put the right words.
Yep.
Yeah, put the money in the right words.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I feel that I learned a lot. I feel that every single one of these podcasts is teaching me so much.
Yeah.
I feel that it's so worth it. And especially talking to you and getting to see all these parts of you that we usually don't get to talk
we don't
about,
get to talk
right?
a lot,
Because we don't talk about business or things like this.
The other day she told me, I mean, like we should go have coffee. I think we haven't sat down and have coffee and talk for some time.
In a little bit, but we're going to do it. That is one of my 2025. It has to be a lot of more like in-person connections. I love in-person connections. I feel that was also my 2024 goal was in-person connections. I actually did it. But 2025 is like in-person connections with people that matter, like you. And I feel that we have a lot to grow, a lot of space to grow. What are your goals?
Ooh, for 2025?
For 2025.
Here, let me get my.
Let me adjust my brain. For this.
I think one, I have to work on personal growth, mentality, personal mentality. Two, I'm not even gonna say health because.
Oh, come on.
We never do that. I've been working now for like 20 years. But more than anything is I want to be able to create a team, a bigger team, to obviously production and all that, grow production and all that. But more than anything, I think find my peace. I think that's my goal.
And it's coming. I know it's coming for you. And whenever you put it out there, you know how manifestation works. So I see it for you. I wish it for you. And I'm here for anything.
Thank you.
How can people find you?
On social media?
Yeah, he is in social media.
Alfredo Rosales, Google it. Or just Instagram, Alfredo_Rosales. Or TikTok, Alfredo Rosales.
And he's so popular in TikTok.
Yeah.
It is crazy. Yes, you are. Yes, you are popular. So what are you going to do whenever they close TikTok down? They said they're going
I don't know. I mean, I just saw
Stay on Instagram.
The incoming president send a thing to the court to hold the thing. So we'll see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't think it's going to go.
I don't think
it's
so.
a lot of money. It's a lot of money involved.
They've been saying that for a little bit. But they can also find you in YouTube.
On YouTube, on Al Día en Bienes Raíces, which is a podcast. It's in Spanish. I am working on 2025 to try and start do something in English.
Okay.
I tried it this year, but when I went to record the first episode, I was like, no, I wasn't feeling
it was not your thing, and I feel that the Spanish one is so you.
Yeah, that's for me. So obviously grow that, and then maybe do something in English. We are doing something in English that has to deal with NARAB. Okay. So we'll probably work on that. So.
Great. Well, we're going to count this one as your very first podcast in English. We're both Spanish speakers. And sometimes I always say...
English is our second language.
It is our second language. And sometimes I miss words. And I was watching my podcast the other day. We mumble. I was watching my podcast the other day and I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I said there. I don't even know where that word came from. Which it doesn't matter because that's who I am, right? Yeah. So I sometimes create new words in English.
That's fine. Yeah.
I'm very creative.
We'll send them to the dictionary.
Muchas gracias, mi amigo, por estar aquí. Thank you for all the information. I'm going to end this podcast with this. To stay relevant in a highly competitive market, embrace change as your constant companion. Innovate your purpose and cultivate relationships that transform challenge into opportunities. Hasta la próxima. Thank you for listening the She Means Business Master Society podcast. We will see you in the next episode.